Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things narcissism, and this video is going to be some of the most patronising things that you might hear a narcissistic person say to you, which is going to cause those feelings of resentment and anger and bitterness and what the within you. Narcissistic people can be some of the most condescending people that you could ever meet because they are that arrogant within themselves. They believe that they are special, therefore they have that air of superiority about them, and they don't tend to recognise this because recognising this would dent their ego. Instead, they tend to blame those around them for this. So one of the first patronising things a narcissist will say to you, and it's often within some form of argument where they don't want to discuss the matter at hand with you. Instead, they want to wind you up and get you going so that they can feel validated that they're important without touching on the actual topic at hand. And once they've caused that frustration and anger and resentment within you, they're going to turn around and tell you that you need to calm down. You should go and take a break. Perhaps you need to have a rest. Maybe you're having a bad day. When in reality, they just won't communicate with you, which is naturally going to cause those feelings and those reactions within you, which is why when it comes to dealing with narcissistic people, one of your best lines of defense is don't deal with them. Recognize that they do not want to communicate with you. There's your answer. And then leave them to it while you go and live your life for you. Another thing a narcissistic person will say is they will do something pretty horrific to you, which is naturally going to cause that upset or those feelings of hurt within you. And then they'll just turn around and say, it wasn't that bad. We are all individuals. We have no idea what another person is going through or what experience is happening within their life. And yes, we can be all capable of turning around when somebody is telling us something and we're feeling bad for them within that experience we're having. So we can turn around and say, perhaps it wasn't that bad. Just to try and get them to see it from a different point of view, not recognising that we're actually making it worse and hurting their feelings. However, when we do realise, we try to communicate with them. A narcissistic person is claiming it wasn't that bad, to shut you down, to downplay any of their wrongdoings, and often while exaggerating anything that you've done, which is when they will turn around and patronise you by just changing the subject onto you, by claiming, what about when you? How about when you did this? So then you find yourself defending and rationalising and explaining yourself with a narcissist, and they no longer have to explain anything to you. One of the most patronising, almost irritating things that a narcissistic person does is when they turn around and claim, I'm the type of person who would never do that, when they're playing the martyr, when they're being superior, when they're acting all perfect because they would never do such a thing. And you can be sat at a meal with a big group of friends or your family, and you might have done something once when you were a teenager and made a mistake and learned from it and not done it again. And you might have told that narcissistic person in confidence of something that you are ashamed of. And then someone can bring up a conversation about somebody else who has done the very same thing or done similar. And the narcissist can sit right next to you and go, I'm the kind of person who would never do something like that. And they're literally having that slight dig at you in front of people to bring you down without people realising what they are doing to you. They want to play the martyr. Or they turn around and claim how they always do something, and there's some sort of virtue within it. There's some sort of superiority of how they're better than everybody else because they always get up at bang on 6 o'clock in the morning. They always make their bed. They're always picking their children up. They're always looking after their grandchildren that perhaps they very rarely to never see. A narcissistic person will stand there with their fantasies and trying to gain that admiration from those around them and claim that since they've retired, they always look after the grandchildren that they never see because they're looking to gain that admiration of, wow, what an amazing grandparent you are, and gain the sympathetic attention of, oh, well, don't you get any of you time to do the things that you enjoy now that you're retired, while criticising their children for not looking after their grandchildren. Yet they do it in a way that if their children point out that the narcissistic grandparent actually never sees their grandchildren, the child isn't believed, the child's disbelieved, the child's scapegoated by the narcissist. So the narcissist gets that validation from those around them. They will go all out to claim how they help at charities. They're wonderful at helping at charities. They always put the charities first, and they will always put the charities before their own family because they're exploiting those charities. They're getting the attention from those charities. They're lying. There's plenty of charitable people who are genuine charitable people. When it comes to a narcissist, they will be lying about who they are. They'll rock up pretending to be homeless and have no family in order to get the support, to get the clothes, to get the free food. And then they will go and tell their neighbours how amazing they are because they're always helping out at that charity, and the neighbours will give them things to take to the charity, and the narcissist will keep those very things for themselves. Try and hold a narcissist accountable on anything, and they might just turn around and say, I'm sorry, I forgot you were perfect, because you recognise that you're not perfect and you do make mistakes. However, narcissistic people do not recognise that they're not perfect. They believe they are superior, so it's a subtle way for them to bring you down. They can just come along and tell you to grow up, which when you're going through something, it's a learning curve, it's an experience. It's not about growing up. It's about learning and developing and growing. And they will turn around and tell you to grow up to shut you down, not to help you grow and develop and learn. Narcissistic people can turn around and say, oh, you're always in a mood, you're always miserable, you're always grumpy. And it can match how you feel because it's a pretty miserable existence when you are around or living with a narcissistic person. So when you're feeling miserable and then they're telling you you're miserable, you believe in the lies that they're feeding you because you feel miserable. When what they're doing is putting you down. Well, who would want to go there with you? Look at the state of you as they act all superior. And you'll often notice the more miserable you are, the more happier they are because they are envious of other people's happiness. Therefore, and that causes that internal misery within them. Therefore, they seek to make you miserable so they can feel happy. And then one that they like is you always take their side. So when you try to point out another point of view or perspective, or when the narcissist is simply in the wrong but does not want to see it, they're just going to turn around and say, you always take their side, or you never take my side. Narcissistic people are very good at accusing you. A narcissistic person will usually be accusing you of never doing something. So a narcissistic person will happily accuse you of never doing something good, never doing something to benefit them. However, they will claim that they never do anything bad. And they will happily accuse you of always doing something negative, always doing something wrong, always doing something bad. However, they will claim that they always do what's right. They always do what's best. They're looking to downplay anything you do well and exaggerate anything that they do good. They are looking to downplay anything they do wrong and exaggerate anything you do wrong, to get you feeling bad, to get you working harder to please them, to get you working harder to change, to serve them, to give them that validation and admiration they're so desperately seeking from you. When it comes to a narcissistic person who is being condescending towards you, recognize who they are as a person. And they're not interested in who you are as a person. They're interested in belittling you so that they can feel superior to you. With a narcissist, it's a regular pattern of behaviour. It's not just a one-off. We can all have one of those days. We can all slip. However, we usually feel bad. We can recognise it and we can apologise to the person. Narcissistic people don't do apologies. They do shaming and blaming and scapegoating so that they can get away with their behaviour. Any patronising phrases you heard, please do add those into the comments for those reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.